Welcome aboard everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. Hope you're doing fantastically well wherever you are in the world today or tonight, depends on where you are. So we're going to go into the XXX crypto, probably our three most favourite bags here, XLM, XRP, XDC, in no particular order. Before we do that, please make sure that you have liked this video if you find it informative, subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already, and press that notification bell for all the latest updates as and when we get them out to you. You get notified. So let's go into the charts here. So we'll start with XRP. Now this is really interesting. We did actually, we put this purple area in a while back, and we did actually hit that area, which was quite nice in terms of our trades personally. We didn't put any lower than that because we do believe that we've had good support and testing of these other areas already. And because the market was going in more of a positive momentum, obviously long term, yeah, absolutely might have to look at some of these again. But for now, we're happy with that and we're onwards and upwards. So here we've got a really unique area here around this part. So this is around the sort of $130 to $132 mark. We haven't seen these kind of numbers obviously since a few weeks ago, and obviously way before back then, around the sort of April time where we saw the all-time highs near enough $2. So still a bit of a way to go, but this is really positive, guys, because since around this area here we've had very good steady and healthy growth. More importantly, the healthy part. We haven't seen parabolic rises and parabolic drops and everything like this. Of course, we've seen profit taking. It's pretty natural, to be honest, across any market, and it's absolutely correct to do so. Always take profits along the way. Buy corrections if you ever get the chance to, if you're trading. This isn't financial advice, of course. So, you know, everyone has their own strategy. But look at that weekly and that 3 monthly. We're doing very well. And the monthly is literally just caught up as well. So that's really good to see. And also to note here that the MACD is very thin now, and we are looking to hopefully touch that and cross over perhaps in the next 48 hours. I'm not sure what will happen. Maybe Monday we might see a bit more movement upwards, but of course it can always come down, and that's proven here on the RSI. We're very much still in the middle area, so plenty of movement to go upwards, and equally just as low as well. But I can't really anticipate that. You see these movements of selling and buying, they're very what I would call like level, and that would anticipate that everyone's kind of in a holding pattern. They're taking advantage of profits. We're not really doing that whole, oh, we're giving up on XRP, selling it. Everyone knows what Ripple and XRP is about. The SEC is still going on, and I don't think you're going to see any gigantic, huge, humongous movements until we see some proper result out of that lawsuit. And it could be next year, it could be next week, it could be in a few months, who knows. The latest update, which we covered in the previous video, of course they're still asking for communication and random messages and things, so it is going to drag on. Wouldn't surprise me if it dragged on until next November, to be honest, when all the CBDCs start to launch and whatnot across the world. But let's see how that plans out. So that's kind of touched up on XRP, still 482% up in the year to date, which is absolutely phenomenal considering the circumstance of how it's being suppressed from the lawsuit. So that wraps up XRP. Let us know in the comments below if you're holding this and what you think it will get to in 2021/2022 when we hit that big major run. And do you think the lawsuit will be completed this year, or are we going to go into next? Let us know your thoughts. On to XDC, which is probably my favourite one of all. I think this is a real absolute gem still. I was getting this, as was Steve, around the sort of 4 cents mark way back earlier in the year. We've seen some great progress. We saw a bit of a correction, of course, like everything else. But we've had, again, steady movement. We are testing these areas. I managed to hit, personally, 3 buy back in options after selling at 19 cents. I don't think it will come back down to here, but I'm still leaving that there, guys, because we haven't really had any tests of this particular area, and that That related, to be fair, with the fib retracement being slightly out to what it is now, but I still believe that there's a potential for that area. Not so much because I think it's going to 11 cents, but this 10-cent mark is really not being tested. So I'm leaving it there just for now in case we have a steady downward pattern. The MACD is still suggesting a bearish movement, which is why I'm leaving it there. So we might have potentially a step ladder approach downwards to this area to test it and then back up again. Could it come down to the kind of like 0.087-ish mark? Absolutely it could, because again, we still really haven't tested that area either. So we did have this momentum because of great news with Zinfin and everything like this, and the build up, the hype, the videos, etc. The market trend was going upwards. So it was anticipated that this was going to happen. That's why we put these orders in. So it's not always about up, it's about, okay, taking profits along the way and then taking advantage of any corrections. That's how we're doing it. Again, everyone has their own different strategy. You might be accumulating for a few years' time and not even worried about the trading. But I thought, well, I want to use as little as money as possible from my capital and cash, as it were, to invest in. And if I can take advantage of some of these swings, then absolutely spot on. Let's see how this goes. XDC for me, again, is a long-term project. I will take advantage along the way, but this RSI is showing that there's plenty of room either way. So just be cautious if you are investing in there now. Caution to the wind, as it were, which way it may go. It could go either right now. We don't want to hype this up and go, yeah, it's going to get to this, it's going to get to this. We've got to be realistic here. And some people don't like the realism. Maybe you like the hype videos, but we're not about that here. We don't want to get anyone wrecked and, oh, well, you said it was going to be this, you said it was that. Well, that's not what we're about. If we're going along with the fib retracement, there is argument that it could go up to that 60-70 cent mark, but we're not going to look at the price prediction until probably the end of September, when we've had various good corrections completed. Then we can really do a proper analysis on where we think the price prediction will be for XDC. So let's keep an eye on that. Again, this is a gigantic project. Check out the video I leave at the end of this one of why we're bullish on XDC. It's absolutely fantastic. R3 Corda, ex-CEO bankers involved, all of this really cool stuff that will really push XDC to really big limits over the next few years for sure. So we'll wrap that up with just that point there. We're still in a bearish momentum and the RSI is very much bang on. It could literally depend, to be honest, about this support area around here as well, 14 cents. It might be that is our new support line and we can get some stability and push up. Fantastic. But just be wary that in this momentum, we could start testing the lower regions as well. So we will review that next week for sure. So that wraps up XDC. And then finally, XLM Stellar. Now, this one, everyone's been complaining about this on many YouTube videos that I've been watching recently, that it's not doing anything. Well, I disagree, because back here, 20 cents, it's now nearly 40 cents. That's nearly double. But more importantly, this healthy growth pattern here, we took some profits here, which is understandable because of that growth. You've hit double the capacity. It shows you, it proves it correctly and massively. This was a point where people were buying, they've doubled their money and they've taken it. There's no surprise here. But look at that, the great retracement upwards, people having a second opportunity to do it because they missed out on the first one. That is what that is, in my opinion, that behavioral pattern. And now we're step laddering upwards. And that means we're edging towards potentially 40 cents if we keep this momentum. If we can keep above this sort of 36 cent mark, we can start pushing upwards to the next level. And I put the long-term fib here and also the short-term one just from most recently, the last week or so, just to give you an idea that it's very much matching up here to show this area as a key area in general on the chart. So we're just going to put this here. In fact, what I'll do, if I just draw this here, this is kind of like the area we need to start stabilizing in for a few days in order for us to push the 40 cents stronger than we did previously. Because if we just go weekly, as in like gradually, there's kind of less momentum behind it to push it upwards. So we need to keep within this support area gradually, get that momentum going, and then push it right over the 40, keep it above this level, which we tested here on the 16th at 0.41, rejected pretty much within the day and came straight back down, proving that we were not quite ready yet to test that area again, which we have only, to be fair, done a handful of times in the history of this year so far, and in general the history of Stellar. So it's a really important area to be considering, but this area is key. 36 cents. We need to close above that on a couple of occasions, then we can push up to the 40, and the world is our oyster, everyone, because we can then start looking at higher numbers. We will restart the fib retracement chart as well to be reflective of that, and then we can start looking at where we are. And I don't anticipate to be doing that really for another couple of weeks to change that. I do think during September we will see this gradual movement slowly and surely upwards, in my opinion, because here the MACD, the gap has narrowed. We're looking to almost switch over in the next probably 48 hours if the trend continues. The RSI again bang on in the middle. I don't like it when it's in the middle because it could go either way, of course, still at this point. It's all dependent on people's profit taking. They might have a third chance to take profits from the ones they missed out on here and here. So you might see some resistance around 37. If we break the 37 and push to the 40, happy days, we can start pushing on. So let's keep an eye on that. 13% up on the week. Monthly is still down. So this is why we are a bit more cautious on this aspect. With this big gap on the MACD here around the 27th to the arguably the 2nd of September before we started moving back upward momentum. So just keep an eye on that. But over the 3 months, which has been really fantastic, 41% up. So we can't be all doom and gloom on this. I'm just being cautious of where we are with XLM. It's a quiet project at the moment. There's not been massive amounts of news. The MoneyGram was probably the most recent point of biggest news. But I would say that this is definitely long term. It's going to be massively applicable to CBDCs and the financial institutions around the world in general. Anyway, so it's definitely a long term hold for Steve and I. But of course, there is plenty of opportunity in the tank to take profits along the way and also buy back in if needed. So let's keep an eye on that, and then we will be able to check in a few days' time where we are with that. So we'll leave it there, and hopefully you guys found this informative. Please do like the video if you have found it informative. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already, and press that notification bell so you get notified of our awesome videos. We'll leave it there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.